And let's shift our attention to the rising temperatures and severe heat wave conditions in India. The summer season has just begun and people in North India are already grappling with sweltering heat. The India Meteorological Department, or the IMD, has issued a red alert for severe heat wave conditions across several states. As of today, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan are all under a heat wave red alert. The IMD indicated a feel-like or heat index value of nearly 52 degrees Celsius on Wednesday for the capital Delhi. The IMD also issued an orange alert for heatwave conditions in Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh. According to the IMD norms, a heatwave is declared when the maximum temperature is greater than or equal to 45 degrees Celsius, or when it is 4.5 to 6.4 degrees Celsius above normal. If it crosses this range, it qualifies as a severe heat wave. As India continues to bear the brunt of the heat wave, let's take a look at how extreme heat can cause serious illness and in some cases can even prove to be fatal. Prolonged exposure to heat wave conditions increases the strain on cardiovascular system, elevating the risk of adverse health effects. In severe cases, this can even lead to heart and kidney failure. Long heat waves are also a result of hot nights, and this reduces the body's recovery time, making sleep more difficult. Now, due to this, the body becomes overstressed and more susceptible to overheating. India's National Disaster Management Authority has listed out the following do's and don'ts to protect oneself from the heat wave. Now, here's what you should do. Drink sufficient water and as often as possible, even if not thirsty. Use ORS, homemade drinks like buttermilk, rice water, lemon water, that to help rehydrate the body. Wear lightweight, light-colored, loose and porous cotton clothes. Use protective goggles, umbrella, hat, shoes or slippers while going out into the sun. If you feel faint or ill, see a doctor immediately. Keep animals in the shade and give them plenty of water to drink. Keep your home cool. Use curtains, shutters or sunshade and open windows at night. Use fans, damp clothing, and take a bath in cold water frequently. And now let's take a look at the don'ts during a heat wave. Avoid going out in the sun, especially between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Avoid strenuous activities when outside temperatures are high. Avoid alcohol, tea, coffee, and carbonated soft drinks, which dehydrate the body. Avoid high-protein food and do not eat stale food. Do not leave children or pets in parked vehicles. There are also concerns with regards to the preparedness of the Indian cities in the face of severe heat wave conditions. A recent study has revealed that 9 Indian cities that are home to slightly more than 11% of India's population are most at risk of heat waves and are not well prepared for them over the long term. And these include Bengaluru, Delhi, Faridabad, Gwalior, Kota, Ludhiana, Meerut, Mumbai and Surat. Now, these cities do have immediate responses to heat waves. For instance, they reported short-term emergency measures such as ensuring access to drinking water, changing work schedules and boosting hospital capacity before or during a heat wave. But the Heat Action Plans, or the HAPS, which contain long-term measures, seem to have a weaker effect on shaping heat actions in these cities. They have still not been implemented well. Long-term actions, such as making households or occupational cooling available to the most heat-exposed or developing insurance cover for lost work, are rare. And where long-term actions are taken, they are poorly targeted. Without effective long-term strategies, India is likely to witness a higher number of heat-related deaths. The report also suggests that long-term risk reduction measures will take several years to mature, thus they must be implemented now. As India faces severe heatwave conditions, one thing is clear: the need of the hour is action. And for more on this, we have with us Dr. Akshay Dioras. He is a climate scientist at the University of Reading in the UK. Dr. Dioras, thank you and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight.
Thanks, Alison, for having me on the show.
Now, like I just mentioned, Doctor, the need of the hour is action. What immediate steps can the state and central governments take amid the current heatwave?
I think the best way to protect from heat wave is, one needs to be hydrated. And it's also important to stay away from heat exposure, because if you are not hydrated and if you get exposed to heat, like high temperature, is going to affect the health. I think immediately what the governments need to do now is to just, they need to provide access to water and cooling facilities, which could be communal in nature in the daytime when people are, forced to go out to work. So people could spend some time in these cool shelters to just relax. And apart from that, if you just keep them, if you just provide a lot of operational facilities like water and everything, and keep on monitoring health, like, local government agencies can go on and just check whether people are doing well or not. So I think these three things are required in the very first instance.
And what, according to you, are the biggest challenges that India, especially its metro cities, face when it comes to tackling extreme heat?
I think if you have to tackle extreme heat, like I said, you need to stay indoor and you need to stay hydrated. But the problem is that we cannot keep people indoor because it's all about bread and butter. If you ask them to stay indoor for the entire day, the question is how will they survive? And the second aspect there, which is also very important, is population density. Because, like you mentioned in your report, these cities are congested. There is literally lack of proper cooling areas. And if you look at population density in some areas of these cities, it's so high that you have so many people living in such a small space. So there is no way that houses can be cooled at night. And India really struggles on these two fronts because we cannot provide employment to these people in other way, like just giving them some money or some compensation so that they can stay indoor and protect themselves from heat. And there is no immediate solution to the high population density, which is just preventing houses to cool down because people just cannot afford air conditioning and cooling facilities as such.
And Doctor, how important is it for countries around the world to set long-term goals for the unprecedented weather events, given their increasing frequency?
I think it's very important because, let me make it very clear that climate change or global warming is not just a myth. It's a clear reality, and we are seeing it happening every day. The impacts of global warming are very clear across different parts of the world. So I think there is a very serious need that politicians and different governments from different countries really start thinking about this seriously in terms of what needs to be done on the short term as well as what needs to be done on the long term. And for the long term, it basically involves preparing the communities from the impact of extreme weather events, which are also on the rise. And extreme weather events could be of different types. You could have extreme heat waves, you could have extreme rainfall in less time. Temperatures, of course, like I said, is another thing. So these things need to be prepared. So I think there's a lot of efforts need to be done so that people can really focus on protecting themselves from these heat waves and high impact weather events.
Yes. And how is climate change inducing freak weather events like these prolonged heat waves?
It's very clear that because of global warming, we are seeing an increase in the intensity and frequency of heat waves across the globe. Now, someone would say that, look, what happened in India in the month of May, India was really cool. I would say that that was an exception. All years cannot be as cool as what we saw in the month of May in India. So India was really lucky on that front. So there is no clear, I would say, denial that, global warming is not doing anything to heat waves. It's just making heat waves more and more severe and more frequent across different parts of the globe.
And how important is it for countries and its leaders across the world to shift attention to climate change?
As I said before, this is a reality, and it's very important that global warming or climate change becomes among the top priorities for different governments, because we don't really have the time to sit down and relax. All these things are going up, like in extreme weather events are going up. And there's a very clear evidence that global warming is intensifying extreme weather events across the globe. So countries need to come together. They need to think seriously
Mm,
about this in terms of mitigation, and also in terms of
mm,
how to really prepare people, be it for example weather forecast. Like if extreme weather events are going to happen over the next few days, you need to have really specific warnings for people, and warnings need to translate into actions so that people are able to save their lives
mm.
whenever an extreme weather event is to happen.
Yes. Doctor, thank you for being with us on First Post Spotlight. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Skali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上の
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. First Post.